In every generation, there comes a footballer who carries the hopes of a nation on his shoulders. For Kenya, Richard Odada was that shining light, a young boy from Nairobi who touched European soil, wore the Harambee Stars jersey with pride, and stood on the edge of greatness. But like many dreams, his journey was not without storms. This is the story of Richard Odada, his success, his downfall, and the fight for redemption.
Born in Nairobi in November 2000, Richard Odada grew up chasing football on rough pitches where dreams are bigger than the fields. From early days at AFC Leopards, his talent shone, tall, commanding, yet graceful with the ball. Scouts whispered his name. By his teenage years, the impossible happened. Trials in Europe, training with Juventus and Inter Milan. For a boy from Eastlands, it was like stepping into another world.
In 2019, Odada signed for Red Star Belgrade, one of Europe's respected clubs. For a young Kenyan, it was history in the making. But the dream was not easy. Language barriers, freezing winters, and endless competition meant he had to fight for every minute. Loan spells to Grafichar and Metalak followed, where he learnt the grit of European football. Each game was a test, not just of skill, but of survival.
In August 2022, a new chapter opened. Major League Soccer. Philadelphia Union came calling. For Odada, this was more than a contract. It was hope, a chance to prove himself in a league of opportunity. Yet as bright as the lights of MLS shone, minutes were hard to find. Instead, he spent time with Union 2, working silently, waiting for his breakthrough.
While challenges grew abroad, at home, Odada was becoming a hero. In September 2021, he made his Harambee Stars debut in a World Cup qualifier. He wore the number once carried by Victor Wanyama, the midfield general Kenya adored. In November, he scored his first goal, a penalty against Rwanda, securing victory for Kenya. For a moment, he wasn't just Richard Odada, he was Kenya's future.
But football is never a straight line. In July 2024, Odada moved to Dundee United in Scotland. The fans welcomed him, but reality was harsher. Just 14 appearances, barely 365 minutes. A midfielder full of potential, trapped on the sidelines. For a young man once tipped as the next great Kenyan export, it was a bitter taste of football's cruelty.
In February 2025, Odada returned to familiar soil, Serbia. On loan at OFK Belgrade, the mission was clear. Find minutes, rebuild confidence, fight for his name again. It wasn't the glamorous move many expected, but sometimes destiny demands we return to where it all began, to start the climb again.
Richard Odada's story is not one of failure, it is one of humanity. A reminder that success is never guaranteed, and the road to glory is often marked by setbacks. He remains young, just 25, with time to rewrite his script. For every Kenyan teenager watching, his journey is a mirror. Talent can take you far, but resilience will carry you further.
So, will Richard Odada rise again? Can he still become the star Kenya dreamed of? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, his fight is not over, and that fight is what makes his story worth telling. If Richard Odada's journey inspired you, don't leave without showing love. Hit that like button, drop a comment below on where you think his career will go next, and most importantly, subscribe so you never miss more powerful football stories like this one.